Hello, everyone. I'm John Higgins, contributing writer to Film and TV Now, and I'm delighted to welcome one and all this interview special with Jamie Sutor, whose Black
Hello, hello. Oh, sorry.
Hometown Boys recently played at the Holly Shorts Film Festival. It's a tale of dastardly deeds against the backdrop of a rundown pawn shop, or actually a heist, in a different way. Jamie, a warm welcome to you.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Okay, so the film is very much in the realm of films like Clerks and Pulp Fiction. I mean, with the GIMP obviously is the obvious reference. I mean, what was the start off point for the short?
It started as me just moving to Los Angeles, having a little like midlife, no, yeah, midlife crisis, I guess, quarter life crisis, and figuring out what to write about. I wanted to make a really cool short film to be my sort of debut here in LA. I did a bunch of shorts in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, but I wanted to make something cool. So I did a little research about weird robberies, and it turns out someone robbed someone else with a dildo. So I took it a step further, and I'm like, oh, let's just do a heist in a porn store. I've never seen that. I think like me as like a 13-year-old kid, if I ever saw that, I'd be like, oh, this is wicked. This is awesome. I've never seen anything like this. So yeah, I just wanted to make something that would tickle myself, I guess.
Okay.
Pun intended.
Now I've mentioned it, I've read that somewhere that it's a homage also to your hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And what I wanted to ask you was, what is it about that town that you what are the positives and negatives?
It's well, the positives for me, there still are so many great musicians and so many beautiful artists who are making beautiful work coming out of there. I I could name 50 people. I won't right now, but it's such a magical town. I feel like for me, Scranton has a lot of angst and pent up energy that a lot of the artists and the people there, they sort of show their aggression through their art, and it comes out beautifully. The funny thing about the town is not a lot of people know about it outside of like Joe Biden in the office. They've either have talked to a lot of people where they're like, I've drove through Scranton and that was the end, or like, yeah, I stopped there for a day, or I went to the Scranton University or whatever. It's it's such a strange town. I love it. When I was growing up there, I hated it, as most people do, because you want more. You feel like deep down inside, I've lived this life before. I want something else. I need something else. And I only started really, really loving it until, um, well, when I moved to LA, and then I was like just enamored by it. And I want the people to know how strange this town is and how strange the people are. My friend Marky Denenbaum said the same thing. It's like you'll never find any place else in the world like Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he's so right.
Hmm. I mean, now we got to talk about your amazing cast. I mean, these guys literally go for it. I mean, everybody, in the room. I mean, it's one location, and it's like, what the bloody hell's going on here? So tell us a bit about your cast.
So it like the casting process was pretty interesting. It was the first time I ever did a casting call. So we had a bunch of people come in for Wolf, Frog, Panther, all of them. The only people who I knew were going to be cast already was Kayla Klein as Mouse, as the getaway driver, and one of my really good friends when I moved out here, Chris Dotson, who was the clerk who gets choked out. I thought like I have to have Chris in here. I worked with him on a bunch of other things. It's great. It's funny. Grant Terzakis, the guy who plays Wolf, he actually came in to read for Frog, the pariah of the group, the guy who just gets socked by the gimp. Spoiler alert. But I don't know, there's something about him. I wanted to give him another chance. I thought he could have like a leading role, and he went in and he did a cold read. I think the cold read was okay. He thought it sucked because it's a cold read about something you've never seen. And then yeah, we started talking. We cast him. Nate Pringle was a Panther. Panther was just, we needed someone who was just a loudmouth, like an asshole, but someone you can get along with. That's the description I have in the script. And we found Nate. I think as far as the cast go, it's it's perfect. Like everyone's just so good at what they're doing. And god damn it, Nate is so funny. He's so funny.
Mhm. And let's talk a little bit about your production team, because you've got there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. I mean, there's one wonderful lighting change which I thought was fantastic in the film, which people will recognize when they see the film. I think it's a wonderfully stylish moment because it heightens, this kind of like a nightclub type situation. So tell us a bit more about your production team. Was it a big one? What was the how did you delegate responsibilities?
I think we had 20 people on crew. It was actually pretty decent. Um, our DP, John Salmon, who is like one of the coolest people to work with and just one of the coolest people in general. He and I just sat down and we're like, okay, so we want to make a 90s heist movie. What do we have to do? And thankfully, I work at a production rental company, so they were able to hook me up with some like Cook anamorphic lenses to get that like nice like a 90s heist look, that nice wide angle. We had a great gaffer, Jay Carey, who was able to come on in and say like, okay, black lights, here's what we're going to do. The black light thing you'll see it when, that's not really a spoiler, but you'll see it. The black light thing's cool. What we did to achieve that was we didn't like, do black lights in all of the overhead. That was just, we shut those off. We had 8 blacklight tubes and Kino shells, and we kind of just like did a nice key and a nice fill on the subject. And with the with all the stuff that you'll see that's glowing, it came off so well. Yeah, the production team was awesome. I think the person who had the best job though was our production designer, Ben Fotor. He had to make fake porn titles for all of the little DVDs and VHS tapes because we couldn't, show anything X-rated. So he was like, dude, I was up to like 2 a.m. I was making these like fake porn titles. I have like 15. We're only going to need like 10. So yeah, he has them somewhere on his hard drive. And when we do the feature, it's going to be great because he gets to recreate them or embellish them.
Yeah, I mean that was actually one of the things because it was so convincing. Until you told me just now that it was actually all made up. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm well aware of some of the alternate titles to some of those classic movies. Like I think one of them was Shaving Ryan's Privates. I think that was the best one I remember.
Oh yeah, classic.
So let's talk a little bit about your influences. I mean, inevitably Tarantino comes to mind, but I also understand that you were into festive viewings of Die Hard. I mean, what is it about Tarantino and also the film Die Hard that kind of gives you this impetus and catalyst to make a short like Hometown Boys?
Oh man. Well, I mean, you watch those movies, and for me, it gave me a sense of watching like the whole reason I made this movie was because I wanted something for for a dad to force their kid to watch on a rainy Sunday afternoon. That's to me like I watched Die Hard and all those Tarantino movies with my dad and my mom on a rainy Sunday. The thing about Die Hard that I love is the music and the acting and everything. It all just crescendos beautifully. It blends together. And I love when movies do that. That's what I tried to do with this one. I play drums in the whole thing. I do like a little jazz thing. And that was fun to do. I also love that it I don't know, there's a timeless aspect to it. Like Die Hard was made in 89, I think.
88.
88. Yeah. It's timeless. You could watch that movie in 40, 50, 100 years. It's still going to hold up. It's still great. I mean, it's Christmas. It's Die Hard. You got John McClane. Whatever. It's the best.
So, aside from that, I mean, what are your other artistic and filmic influences? What are the things that have kind of sort of helped shape you into a filmmaker today?
Drumming. Because, I've been playing for 20 years. I've been playing in metal bands. I play jazz and everything. Everything to me is all rhythm, right? So when I'm writing, I'm listening to either fast jazz, or when I wrote this short film, I was listening to like a lot of like drum and bass, like old 90s UK based drum and bass, because I'm a sucker for that stuff. um it all kind of stems from that, and I feel like being a drummer gave me that little edge that allowed me to tap into the rhythm of storytelling, especially when it comes to editing. Yeah, drumming. I'm lucky. My dad forced guitar on me. I rebelled and I got a drum set instead, thanks to my mom. And yeah, without that, it'd probably just be pushing a pencil somewhere.
So, I mean, I understand that this is actually a proof of concept for a feature, from what I gather. I mean, what are your immediate plans for this film? Because inevitably, everybody. I mean, I see a lot of short films. I go to festivals where short films are played, and we see them. I mean, what are the challenges that you're facing at the moment to get it into the feature realm?
Well, I'm rewriting it for some reason. I'm just you know, the master of my own chaos. But yeah, I'm just rewriting the whole thing because I wrote it in 2018, and I think I'm a much better writer now. And I'm just getting rid of all the dated things, because that's what you have to do with scripts. Sometimes you just have to update them, and here and there we go. That and money. I mean, we want to do it for a mill. I feel like we can go back to Scranton, Pennsylvania, shoot this thing for 1 million, maybe 20 days, 21 days. That'd be the goal. And then yeah, and it's just probably me editing if I'm gonna do that again. But yeah, money. It always comes down to money. I hate it.
So we kind of go back to the 90s and the noughties, I understand, with this film. I mean, what is it about you? What was your own life experience during that time? I mean, was it something where did you experience the decades, or did you kind of drift off somewhere, or what was it like for you?
Oh man, well, I drifted off to the mall a lot. I drifted off to KB Toys and Suncoast Video, because they were right next to each other. It was like the best thing. You walk across the Steamtown Mall, go to Suncoast. It's beautiful. I love that time. I feel like, I don't want to bring up 9/11, but I think everything pre 9/11 was a hell of a lot different, and it had a different feeling. And VHS tape, there's something tangible about that, where you could pick it up and you could bring it to the front, scan it. It was magical. It was a good time. I had another word there, but it's gone. It was ritualistic. That's it. It was a ritual. And I feel like now we sort of lost that. I mean, we could just, go to, Walmart, Best Buy, whatever, and find a DVD, but there's something beautiful about that. I never really drifted off. I think I was kind of tapped into what I was doing, the friends I was hanging out with, the poor life decisions I was making in my teens, the fun I had in my teens. It all sort of stems from that.
Mhm.
And the 90s were the best times for movies, in my opinion. We had some really bad ones, but we had some really good ones and really campy ones. I mean, I'm gonna tangent off, but like the Mortal Kombat movie, the 19, I think it was 1994, 95
Mhm.
Mortal Kombat movie. It's so campy. It is so campy. Some of it just doesn't make sense, but there's something magical about it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to sort of bring that back. I want to have that feeling of filmmaking again. Well, and when people watch this, I want them to feel that too.
Mhm. So obviously, we were talking a little bit about writing earlier on with regard to the Hometown Boys feature expansion. I mean, I understand that you've penned some other feature scripts. You're a commercials director as well, from what I gather from your experience. I mean, are there any particular projects, given that what's happening in America with the Writers Guild at the moment, which is obviously impacting on everything? Is there
Yeah.
anything that you are kind of look excited about actually getting out there immediately? Are there any exciting projects that you are certainly looking forward to get out there?
Oh my God, yeah. I have another feature that is just, I wrote this after Hometown Boys, and I feel like this is really great. It's basically Spinal Tap and the movie Best in Show combined, but set it in the year 2005 during the heyday of MySpace.com. So it's a battle of the bands. We follow three bands on their way to play a giant MySpace.com, the first, the last battle of the bands. And yeah, I mean, it's fun. I get to tap into my filmmaking, but also I get to relive some of these moments I had back then when playing in metal bands and such. That's going to be the most fun. I have a lot of plans for that one. I have a lot of dreams for it. We have a lot of music we have to write. So I have some like artists who I think would be like perfect to write this, and one of them is a Scranton guy.
Mm-hmm. We're going to wrap it up. I've got two final questions for you, Jamie.
Cool.
We talked a little bit. I mean, this film's had a great festival run so far, including Holly Shorts, and I'm just interested to know what your feeling is about festivals in terms of how important they are in terms of developing and showcasing talents, and also the networking aspect. Because I go to some festivals here in the UK, in London, for example, and it's a wonderful atmosphere because you have all these people coming together with their respective works, and then they also chat about, you know, their plans and ambitions. So just tell us a bit about what your reflection is on that.
They're important. They're the most important thing for a filmmaker. You know, it's like when you're writing a script, you're either with someone or you're by yourself. Most of the time, you're just by yourself. It's you're put into solitary confinement. And then you make your thing, and then whatever. But it's the most important part about filmmaking. It's you get to show off your stuff with better filmmakers. Like I was at Holly Shorts last year, and I'm watching these, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to get to this point where I'm making a movie like these people are. They're incredible. I tried to do, I think it was like 10 days of Holly Shorts. I think I did like 5 or 6. It's a lot. It's a lot of days to do this thing, but yeah, the networking aspect is beautiful. You get to meet a lot of great people. I met a ton of great people, and I still talk to them. We connect over Instagram. Yeah, I don't know if future projects are ever going to compare to the first time getting your movie into a real film festival, but if it does, I'm here for it. I can't wait.
Right. And my final question is, obviously, what are you most proud of about the short itself of Hometown Boys?
Oh my god, it's a tough one. I'm proud of. I'm proud of everything. That I'm proud of everyone who came in. Three. I mean, we did 3 overnights in a porn store in Inglewood, California. Right? Like, no one had moved out here for this, but they were just so cool, and I'm proud of the work that they've done. And the joke answer is I'm proud of our GIMP. I'm proud of our GIMP. Our GIMP really dedicated themselves to being the best GIMP anyone could ever ask for. Thanks, Cameron Byerly, our stunt performer, who played our GIMP too. That's a fun sentence to say. Yeah, our GIMP. I'm more proud of the GIMP than anything.
Okay. Well, Jamie, listen, thank you so much for your time and insights today. Been an absolute pleasure. Hometown Boys is a very unusual film, and for everybody else out there, do keep your eyes open for it, because you probably haven't seen a short like this. Well, you've seen something like it, but not in this case of this short. So please do try and check it out on festival runs as and when it arrives, wherever you may be. Just wrapping up, for more articles, interviews, and reviews, you can go to www.filmandtvnow.com, and you can watch other interviews like this one via my official YouTube channel, John Higgins Film Review. And also, please do check out my official film resource website, whatmovie.co.uk, which was launched in April of 2022. And on that note, thank you again, Jamie, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you. This was awesome. I've got to make it to the UK. I've got to show up.
Well, definitely, Jamie. We will definitely do that at some point, and come and join us in London. Cheers.
Hell yeah. Bye.